assuming we don't go to overtime, we get 3 points and get a little bit closer for that potential possible second place for playoffs.
I think everybody's coming into this group assuming that BDS is a given. They're going to make it out. And I think for most of what we've seen so far, that is a relatively safe assumption. But, I mean, anything can happen. I didn't see FaZe Clan losing earlier. I didn't see Damwon Kia, by the way, being undefeated still. So here we are in this world where NA is 1-10. LATAM is losing every single match today.
Yeah, so far.
Which, by the way, is almost the same as, I believe, the Six Invitational, where LATAM had like an amazing first day, and same with Mexico, and then the next day it was kind of bad. So there's an ebb, and then there must always be a flow.
Yeah.
And today is the flow, and that's just how it works. So, Flores, Thatcher, Valkyrie, predict last one quickly. You have 6 seconds, 5 seconds.
I'm just going to go Mirror. Super basic.
3 seconds.
Valkyrie's always gone.
2 seconds.
Mirror. It's...
Amira's looking kind of different.
It's kind of different. I think it's a graphical mistake. I don't think that was the intention. Perhaps a misclick from Invictus. I'm not quite sure.
I mean, Aruni has an A, R, and I in it, and so does Mira. So maybe you were like,
I actually mixed them up a lot, so maybe I just misspoke. I wanted something else. It's very, very interesting, though, to see the Mira being open. It is one of those operators. It's not as impactful as on Villa, I would say, but if teams want to bring it, as you see Gig showcasing on the first round, and they're going bar gaming, so I believe he will stick the operator. I think it's very fitting, I think it suits the bomb side, and I think it'll suit them going up against Soniqs. But Gig is about to break my heart. He has 6 picking, but doesn't know to what, and he chooses to go on to the alibi Gig, perhaps wanting some more firepower, because against BDS Parker, he was going on a rampage of his own.
Yeah, Gig's actually had some pretty good stats here for Invictus, amazingly so. I would actually have to pull up the exact stats so far for these teams, but...
Yeah, go for that, Parker. In the meantime, as I said, bar defense, we're seeing already from IG the extension up above. They want to contest the library, they want to hold the chimney area. We see 2 ADs are being put down, and I would be very surprised if there wouldn't also become a shield there. Actually, I do take that back. Actually...
Take it back?
No, I take it back. The shield is top blue. The alibi went to a kite, which means there's only 1 shield from the side of IG. I was expecting 2 shields, as I did not notice the kite coming out instead of the alibi. But that is all good. It'll work the same, and IG is sticking to a default strategy, which works wonders most of the time.
Look at this Soniqs lineup, by the way. A can opener, 2 sets of grenades, a set of smokes, and some flashbangs. That's
a lion.
Maximum secondary utility. I'm sorry, do that noise again.
It's a cute lion because he hasn't gotten the growl yet, so it's like the early stages, if you will.
Is that the sound that a lion makes, Nick?
I mean, is it not? Well, how would you... I would like to hear your impression of a lion.
Absolutely not.
Well, it's only fair if I do that you must too, or at the very least...
You offered to do it without me asking.
And you must admit that mine was fine.
Well, you talked about Gig, by the way. He's down. This is...
Speaking of fine, he's not fine right now, Parker.
Chalet is one of the Soniqs' best maps in the North American League. They like playing it all the time, and they are quite proficient on it. So you find yourself in a spot as Invictus, where you are on very familiar turf for SQ. SQ will obviously have a bit of confidence and feel emboldened by that. We'll see what they can accomplish with it. Gig, who had been downed earlier, got back up, but now he's on the bench, finished off as a pool of blood is where his body lay. Down goes Joe as well. The Soniqs are just going to briskly walk right through. Lunar Metal, the first kill for Invictus. There could have been another as well on the Grixer tussling through that double doorway leading over towards Kitchen. Lunar finally falls after his single kill, but there's Speakeasy. You know how much damage he can do. As long as Speakeasy's alive.
Wait.
It's still Invictus in this.
Was Rexon right behind him the entire time, perhaps on the camera? Yeah, I think he was hiding in this corner behind the bookcase, and Speakeasy walked by him, took out his teammate, and then just walked away.
You have to stand incredibly still.
Yeah.
If they don't move, you can't see them. So
that's very true. It's kind of like that animal that puts its head in the ground. Is that an ostrich? Is that what they're called?
Yes.
Yeah. They just boop, and then they can't see you. They think you can't see them, but that is not always the case, Parker. Speakeasy are looking for opponents to slay.
An unbelievable comparison to call a person an ostrich.
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Speakeasy's still on the library stairs, by the way. 3 players in the Soniqs against the 2 of Invictus. Joe and Jordan off in the last 2 alive, but in this time, you subbed out Jordan and you've got the best statistical player on Invictus at this event. He can be a big difference maker. Possibly dislodged on the stairs. I think he's going to be unhappy with that one. The radius of the grenade is good enough to take him down, and then Jordan falls as well. The Soniqs had the 2 final players of Invictus in their crosshairs. Not quite literally, until they did. Literally, and that's the round in favor of SQ.
Soniqs spreading out across the entire map. I don't think IG had a leg to stand on. I don't know, or I don't think rather, that they knew exactly what Soniqs were doing. They came up through the basement super rapidly, opened up that Maverick line in towards Bar, and all of a sudden, Invictus had such limited positions that were actually safe. And I say that, but Invictus were kind of running around. Soniqs were also running around, and we even saw that ostrich scenario where we had Speakeasy basically hogging Rexen up near the chimney area. So, brutal first round, quite quick I would say. Usually, Soniqs are good at getting what they want in the early game. They get fast into the map. I know on Coastline they play a very similar style where they say, we want this room, then they take that room. But where the Soniqs fall short sometimes is in the mid-game. When the game slows down and they've gotten what they wanted, if they don't get the opening, such as, in this case, IG losing the gunfights or IG moving into their line of sight, that's when the Soniqs, they start to falter. So, maybe Invictus could play it a bit slower, sit on their ground, hold their ground, and then see what Soniqs will do next.
10 seconds to go.
Well, in terms of site rotations, now we're going to go up to a bomb site that doesn't show itself off all that much in North America. And we'll continue to compare back to NA because that's where the Soniqs really thrive. And I think it's fair to say that with how North America has played so far at this event, they are going to dominate the storyline, not for the right reasons, mind you. NA have been downright awful. They have 1 win in 11 matches played. That gives them a 1-10 record for those of you that were unable to do such simple math.
Yeah,
that is brutally bad. And well, I mean, Grixer almost cost himself his life on that very first entry. For the Soniqs here, they have an opportunity to buck the trend line. And boy, do they need to do some bucking with how bad North America's been. First, E1D is going to come out with 30 seconds burned off of the clock. Invictus are spread out well all over the map, including the lurk down below of Speakeasy. Siege Easy, as he'd been called.
Yeah, Parker, before this tournament, Lemch actually made an interview in French, and he said regarding NA, NA is good on strats, but weak in gunfights. Latam is good in gunfights, but weak on strats. EU is okay on both, but APAC is good on both. So, NA and APAC almost taking a bit of a swing around where NA is the bottom feeder in this case, and APAC, they're feasting on the kings of the regions. The game against SSG earlier between Damwon Kia and SSG was phenomenal.
I was going to say, I saw there was a post on the subreddit right now. First kill, by the way, goes to Grixer. Gig got a little bit too cute with the doorway there and gets punished by one of the statistical best players in North America over the last year. There was a good post on the subreddit saying that Rainbow Six has now become League of Legends. Korea is good and North America
Oh,
stinks,
man. Well, you know what's next, Parker? NA needs to start importing non-North American players to their league.
Oh my. Lunar Metal tried to get cute as well, impacting the wall as the clash and going for a run out. He gets punished for it. Super gets shut down, by the way. So there's your hard breacher down, your primary hard breacher. I say that because Rexen had the can opener last time. Yep. Safe to say that he's got 2 of them still, and indeed the top right of the screen shows that as correct. And Yeti is still there, and even though Maverick, it might not be a main hard breacher, in a pinch, he can do what's needed. The problem is that you don't have a thermite at your disposal, and you don't have a ton of time either. The Invictus gang are currently in a 3v4. Soniqs with the upper hand in terms of numbers, 40 seconds left. But now you need to go through the rest of the map where you don't oh, hold on a second here. Rexen sees the gun. Jordan, that's a rookie mistake. You can't be doing that. And Rexen's gonna walk right in. Richie, oh my. He's gone, down for the count. Joe gets 1 kill, but there's 3 more to find with the diffuser now at 40 seconds. Nice flick from Joe. Still positioned. He'll head back over to the Kona machine.
I mean, Soniqs playing so far back, Parker. They understand that this diffuser is so hard for Joe to clear. He has to find the kills to win this round because if he starts defusing, it's 7 seconds with no gun in his hand.
creeping on up, but Kansan finishes it off. That was just a technicality at that point and a semi-anticlimactic ending to the round as they knew exactly what they needed to do. The Soniqs up 2-0 over Invictus. And I will say, this is a relatively tough group. It was much tougher had Hysterics been here, for the record. Would have been a much tougher group, especially with the way that Invictus has played in APAC South and the way they played at the Mexican Major. The Soniqs came in with expectations being quite high on them. There's a lot of chatter on this Soniqs team about, do they rightfully own a top 4 spot in North America? We always refer back to the big 4 in LATAM. We do the same in North America. The Soniqs have now been challenging for the top.
They have.
They've been pushing for the crown in NA, and a lot of people sleep on them and think that at some point they'll regress. But now over 2 stages, they've proven that they are one of the best teams in the entire region. They had a very disappointing performance at Mexico.
Yeah.
And if they have a disappointing performance here in Sweden, obviously the rest of NA is as well, so it's not that bad. But if they have a disappointing performance here in Sweden, I wonder if there's more legitimacy to players saying, well, you know, they're good in North America, but they can't do anything outside of the region.
Yeah, and I mean, a similar story is kind of being told for Darkseer as well in the NAL. They find domestic success. They rarely are at the very top, but they're usually in that top 4 area. The Soniqs, however, I would say that one of their main problems is a bit of consistency. When you have the players showing up, we see Kansan, we see Rexen, we see Grexer on the entry, Yeti sometimes as well joining along. When they are doing good, Soniqs find success. But if the players are not showing up, which they are so dependent on, that's where the team play does not really make up for that fact. So, a good day for Soniqs is a great day for Soniqs, but a bad day for Soniqs is really bad for that. Gig, Coach of the Year, maybe, or Coach of this event at least, finds the opening kill onto none other than Super, who barely made it out of spawn. And with that, look at the diffuser, Parker. As the cool kids say that are young, it's in Narnia. Yeti will have to do the dirty work of running all the way across, but look at Gig. He knows this. He's holding down the diffuser, but Yeti says no, shuts it down, back to 4 versus 4, but has to run all the way around to actually get the diffuser in his hands.
Nice shot.
Nice shot.
I know. I know. Yeti had that one ready, by the way, lined up. Super will now call from the bench, and he's actually had, in terms of in-game statistics, a significantly better Swedish major than he has had in NAL Stage 3. In the NAL Stage 3, he was the bottom player by a huge margin, the lowest amount of kills, and yet he is still a staple of this team. Why? A lot of people would see that as a negative. I mean, I would agree. Not being able to get kills, probably not ideal, but he is so good as a leader for this team that any deficit that he may cause them in terms of fragging, he more than makes up for with the surplus of knowledge that he has. So he'll be able to call the remaining 4 players. He won't be in the cut and thrust, just going off of the perspective of his teammates. Gig now for 3 rounds has been involved in the first blood of every single round, twice as a death, now finally as an attack.
Gig is not slowing down. Maybe it's that UK presence. We see a lot of aggressive UK players back in the EUL, and maybe Gig just wants to represent UK Massive and all that. And to be honest, Parker, it's worked more often than not, I would argue, especially given the circumstances of the fact that he's not a player, he's a coach. So, him being 1-3, no shame on that. Jordan looks to fight Rexen, and they have a little bit of a dance left and right, but Rexen becomes the victor. Lion Charge comes out, and you see the Soniqs are slowly, actually, quickly taking control over the top 4.
Invictus are so committed to peeking everything, trying to rely on gunfights. Lunar gets a kill of his own, he's down and out. Speakeasy is miles away from the action, and he'll have to retake over by Solarium, down below now in Trophy. If he creeps up, he needs to be wary of where there might be some anti-flank. A Nomad or a Zero is almost always a requirement on this map. That means that you're going to have one operator dedicated to flank watch, and that Speakeasy's job is going to be significantly tougher. He's not going to get too far away because Rexen thought that, well, I'm upstairs, maybe I'll go downstairs, and that's what he does. He gets the kill, and that's 6 kills for Rexen so far through these 3 rounds. Really remarkable stuff.
Yeah.
I want to go back to what's on your screen right now, because it really does show that no matter whether they have a numbers advantage or whether they're evenly matched, Invictus is still swinging out. They are taking every engagement. The round before, Lunar Metal impacts the wall, swings as a clash. The round before that, Gig swings on a window, or Gig swings when they're pushing the window while he's playing at the top of Fireplace by Chimney. What is it about Invictus wanting to take these engagements so brazenly instead of just waiting for the Soniqs to show up?
I was gonna say, Parker, the entire round happened on the top floor, but the bomb site was down below in kitchen dining, so yeah, what are you doing up there? You have the option of falling back, but they knowingly and they willingly said, we're gonna take the fights to you, which you have to question, are they super confident? Are they perhaps overconfident? Or is it just the fact that we spoke about this yesterday, the strat book has been tossed into the bin because of the situation with Gig being here? Maybe they just say, we're gonna fight it till the very end, and if our aim can't get us there, that's just too bad.
I also think that that last point is the biggest one. When I talked to Fnatic in one of the most infamous matches in Rainbow Six history, Fnatic versus Evil Geniuses. By the way, if you're watching this match right now, and you haven't seen Fnatic versus Evil Geniuses,
You should.
you need to go watch it this moment. I don't care what you're doing. Open a second browser. Buy a second phone if you need to watch 2 Twitch VODs at the same time.
Wow.
Go back and watch Fnatic versus Evil Geniuses because it is glorious. It is one of the dumbest matches I have ever seen in my life.
In a good way.
In a good way. Long story short, Magnet couldn't make it, so at the last minute they had to have Dizzle play. Dizzle is not a player at all. He really isn't. And the team just decided to throw out every single strategy. And they said before the match, they said, well, we had 2 options. We could try to slot Dizzle into maybe a support role and change all of ourselves around, or we could pull our brains out of our skulls, throw out every single strat that we have, and just play some real Aussie Siege. And that's exactly what they did, and they beat EG, spoilers.
Yep.
So it was a glorious thing, and I wouldn't be too surprised to see Invictus do the same thing, where they slot Gig in and they say, you know what, Gig is not hysterics. Nobody is. Very few players are on that level. We might as well just go for broke. Just let's have some fun.
I think you're absolutely right, Parker, and I think it explains the situation at hand where Gig gets a lot of freedom. He can kind of play as he chooses, that he wants to do, and the rest of the team will just kind of make that work. But what doesn't work was this Maverick hold 2 times in a row. Yet he tried the same thing the first time around where nothing came out of it, but this time he becomes the guy who's on the floor, injured down below.
Well, he's going to crawl to safety. Super will be able to retrieve him. Not too worried about getting pushed in that particular direction.
I mean, Super doing that dirty support work. I mean, he goes all the way around just to revive Yeti, who found himself to be injured. Someone's got to do it, Parker, and this time it was Super.
Oh my, I don't think Rexon knows. Yes, he does. Gig again peeks. This is a gun with almost 0 recoil. When you put that gun in Richie's hands, he's going to slaughter them all. But IG has something to say about that. 3 kills of their own to bring it back. Yeti on the flank. He's back from the dead, and a Spectre eludes them as now Speakeasy's in the line of fire upstairs inside a library. A crossfire onto Yeti takes him down, leaving Kansan in a 1v2. It's very winnable, though. Lunar Metal is not known as being a proficient fragger, and he's on lower HP than he wants to be. Ditto Speakeasy, who is so strong, but is only on a hair. We'll see what Kansan can pull off. He has no EE1Ds left, and he has no flashbangs. He is just a man with a gun, that's it. And he'll rely on the rest of his teammates and any potential intel they have to show him where he needs to go.
There you see IG rotating down from below to get back together. They want to play the 2 versus 1. They're even giving up the bomb site, going back up at ball from Lunar Metal, and they want Kansan to plant, which he's yet to do. He's read the situation, holding down the angle. Now it's a playing game. Who peeks first? Who takes the first choice? The time is running out. Sub 15 seconds, closing in on 10. Kansan starts the plan. Lunar Metal's up above, finds the head, and shuts down the round. Invictus, yeah, that is IG. Invictus, they take it.
I don't envy them being in that spot. I don't know how you get out of it, by the way. The Soniqs and Kansan in particular lost complete control. The only thing he really could have done, Nick, is he could have gone back upstairs and tried to provoke a fight. But that's the thing, when you have only 40 seconds left, you have no information, there's no intel, so where do you go? You don't know. Frankly, you really don't know where to go, and Kansan is still a newer player. He is very young. He's still getting used to the handle of international competition. I don't blame him for the way he handled it.
No.
It was a tough spot to be in.
To be honest, you put any player in that position, the way that IG played it, having one guy in the closet down below on the first floor, he can challenge bombsite, and putting Lunar Metal up above, there is no correct and there is no wrong play. If you are in the shoes of Kansan, you are in an unwinnable position, not because of what you're not able to do, but because of how IG chose to play it. They played it safe, they played it smart, they played it well. We saw just a second ago, or a few seconds ago, Grixer 6-picking onto Amaru, Parker, and normally in a vacuum, Amaru, you're gonna go in, then what? But Kansas been playing the Lion throughout this game, which that's no surprise. But this time with the 6-pick onto Amaru, we might see something really quickly and really fast from the side of Soniqs in this attack.
I mean, you don't bring Amaru for no reason, right? What do you bring her for? To get in quickly, that's it. Get in, get a kill, and get out. And there you go. Grixer's going to go for it straight up. The bomb chassis is not too far away, and you might be able to catch them sleeping. We're only 20 seconds into action. Teams are still in the midst of setup.
You could just go in here, Parker, honestly.
Grixer realizes that this is completely empty. It's free, so maybe he can do something with it. He's missed his opportunity, though. The Wamai shows up to the party, and now Grixer's presence is known. Any potential trickery that was there is effectively gone. So Jordan retreats towards the piano. They've called Lunar Metal into action over by the doorway, and he will now soldier on up, getting some intel. Yes, there is an Amaru up there. You can back up and not have to provoke a fight.
Certainly, honestly, Parker, when you do this Amaru play on Grixer, you gotta just have the confidence to full send it. Either you go for it or you don't. And fair play to Soniqs, they said, you know what, it's a 50-50 and we're just not gonna go for it. The drone eventually saw the Wamai then shot the drone, and then the entire rush was called off. And thankfully for that for Soniqs, because when Lunar Metal's on this clash, you are not gonna have any fun being single man on site with no backup if you're Grixer.
Down entrenched, Speakeasy possibly shooting away at whoever might be behind that doorway, but there's nobody to be found. We know that. And now a standoff up above as they still watch towards this office and bedroom bomb site. The wall's been opened up, and now Yeti can break it as his will. I think he has one tiny sliver to get, and yes, there you go. A nice clean square or rectangle, depending on the...
Yeah, potato, is it not?
Nobody says potato.
Tomato, tomato, potato, potato. Do you know why he made it square, Parker, and not just a line like Rickley? I'll tell you why. When you put a Kite Claw or a Bandit Charge on a wall, when you make it soft with Maverick, the game doesn't understand that, so the electrification still stays on, which looks odd, but it works the same way, which means you cannot put a Breaching Charge on the wall because it'll get sapped. So if you make a square, the entire wall falls apart, and you can therefore get an entry point.
There you go. We've seen teams do that before as it cuts the reinforcements away. They do it on the clubhouse wall too, and then they buck or Zofia or sledge it open. This is the execute that's going to be occurring, and Super's in, getting the diffuser down, shrouded away by smoke. Lunar Metal will push up through it. Is there any confusion there? Speakeasy down below. Super's been dropped. The diffuser goes down. Successful for the Soniqs, but they lose 2 in the process. 5v3 becomes a 4v3. Kansan watching from above as Lunar Metal is over top of that diffuser. Speakeasy though, right now, on a flank. Do they have any information as to where he is? That's the real question. A nice hole opened up by Kansan to watch that diffuser. Jordan takes a tiny bit of damage too, and there's Speakeasy to drop that Kansan play. But Rexon has his watch. Rexon has been
going
so
for master window, that's huge.
But Grixer now flanking around. He's in the other side of the bomb site. Do they hear him? Yes, they do. Trying to distract. Rexon's down as well. And Invictus managed to completely stop them with a second to spare on the timer. This one was so close. 2 seconds left. The Soniqs, great strategic ideas. The execution and implementation, not the strongest. The round goes to Invictus.
I really, really wanted that Amaru play to work out, Parker. It looked phenomenal. You saw him make the decision. Do I go onto the office balcony? No, I do not. What do I do next? Well, very few options at hand. The master window was such a great idea, but it was figured out. It was read by IG. They shut it down. And if we go a few seconds back to the plan situation, we spoke about the Kite Claw still being active on that non-existent wall. We saw Super plant outside the smoke, inside the breach, and basically he was getting sapped by the Kite Claw and got all the way down to like 50 health, then to get smoke banged by the Clash when she whipped out the SMG. So perhaps the moaning Thermite, if you will, gave away his whereabouts as he was like, getting sapped away by the wall that wasn't even there.
Oh no. Those noises you just made.
They're gonna get used for something. And we don't want to know what that is, Parker. Fan fiction exists out there, and we might not have one yet, but we might very soon have our first.
No.
Yes.
Don't think about that.
There is someone out there,
I don't want
Parker, that wants this to happen, so they will make it happen if they have to. IG took the round 3-2. I think they can be happy with the situation.
The roof got
I would argue. I would argue that Chalet is a Tiger favorite in most situations, and
Yes.
I don't think this will be much different.
No, I mean, the likelihood is that the Sonics will prevail on this bomb site. They won on Kitchen before. The 2 victories for Invictus the previous rounds both came on that bar gaming bomb site, then upstairs in office and bedroom.
Yeah.
So you don't really have anywhere else to go. The only other option, the only bomb site that hasn't been played is the garage bomb site.
Yeah. Pretty standard stuff. Basement still, it does get played to be fair, but it's kind of tricky. I'm actually a bit surprised if you were to play the basement, it would probably be with the Thatcher being banned and the Kite being open, and so is the Mirror. So if there was a time to do it, if there was a game to do it, I think it's this one, but we'll see if Soniqs, they are a little bit wiser or maybe just a little bit more feisty as they might do that on their behalf.
Rexon's in very quickly, looking to break double digits. He's the closest player to doing that thus far, and relatively even split between everybody in the lobby. No real standout performers. Gig, after having a high-flying performance yesterday in his 2 matches, is lagging behind the competition. And not that I want to shine too bright of a spotlight on him, but Lunar Metal is actually doing better than he does statistically in the killing department. So, well done in that regard. Rexon putting that Twitch drone to use now, Nick, as we're about to hit the halfway mark of the round. Everybody's still upright in the lobby.
Yeah, let's see if IG, they're a bit wiser this time and chooses to fall back. Doesn't look like it just yet, but Jordan coming up, Gig playing inside the bathroom, and Grixer inside of the master closet. They have the option to stay for a bit longer, but they need to read the situation as it unfolds. There is no reason to overstay a welcome, but by the looks of it, Parker, they got the right idea in mind. Grixer, though, with this drone, has the information.
Oh, and there's a drop through the basement as well. Gig on the Malusi will head out of town. Grixer has no information as to where the Malusi went, though. But hey, look at this, the confidence from the Sonics upstairs to take up ground as much and as quickly as possible. And Rexon will try to find the 2 players playing over by that Solarium component of the map. But the bomb site is down below. Need we remind you, over by Kitchen. Grixer, the leadoff pick onto Lunar Metal, looking the wrong way, assuming foolishly that they were free and clear of the trophy window. A fade away by the Vigil of Jordan as he gets away with his life intact as well. And that will set Yeti up from above to try and clear the way into Kitchen. Super desperately needs this Electroclaw taken off of the wall.
Can't find it, Parker. So that means they need to do a last-second Maverick shenanigans, but look at Gig on the flank. I don't think they know his whereabouts. If he strikes at the right time, Gig might just increase that #1 on his kill board.
Oh, nice nade by Grixer, and he's in. He's got a 3rd kill to his name. That leaves Gig and Jordan on this flank. Jordan over by Westmain. Grixer a 4K. Only 1 remains. Will it elude him, or will we see Grixer collect them all? Gig lined up. No, Gig says an ace is denied. So Gig will fire back, but the timer ticks away 40 seconds. He's on a tiny bit of HP, and things will settle down. That 4-2 scoreline for the Sonics on an attacker-sided map looking exceedingly likely, and going from likely to certainty at the hands of Rexon. First half in the books, 4-2 in favor of the Sonics.
Not a outrageous result by any means. A 4-2 attacker split of Sonics is good. It is decent. Invictus getting 2 defenses of their own. Almost a 3rd, one could argue, is also just alright. But it is so heartbreaking when their flank works out. They don't have the drone information. They don't know the whereabouts of Gig. But the second he swung, the execute came from Sonics and they ran into side. And he doesn't do much else but a bit of chip damage on the side of Grixer. So very unfortunate for him. Maybe next time he'll strike true, find it a bit earlier, and hopefully find a kill. It looked great for IG. The Electroclaw was never found. The wall was never breached. But Grixer on that trophy window found the frag, jumped in the window, found the 2nd kill with his gun, and all of a sudden, IG was just blown to pieces. Going to Bar, I believe. Yes, Bar with the upstairs extension with the mirror. So this is also where Invictus Gaming, they started. It seems like a comfort pick all around, whether you're from APAC or from NAL. I want to see if Soniqs can do a better job than IG did on their first round.
On their first round, but the Sonics did manage to go 50-50 on this bomb site, but a different setup that 2nd time around, I will say that much. Invictus learn from their mistakes, and they can pivot and make changes when need be. In this instance, I don't know exactly how that translates to attack, because on attack, you need to be way more adaptable and flexible to what the defenders set up in your direction. And the Sonics in particular are very good on the roam, especially on this map. Yes, it might be an attacker-sided chalet, but it is a comfortable map for SQ. As to whether or not Invictus favor chalet as much as them is up for debate.
Certainly. I think Invictus has done a good job on the attacking lineup. They got all the tools they could possibly want, and I will give them kudos. They actually have flashbangs on the buck, and you might be asking, that's silly. What about the can opener? You only got the Maverick. But Soniqs, with a defensive hold, with the Mirror, with the Wamai, with the Jaeger, they need the grenades, and to enable those grenades, they need the flashbangs to clear out those ADSs and Wamai discs. So, they have everything in their arsenal to take care of the setup from the Soniqs, but execution matters a lot more than the resources.
This is rare to see, by the way. Speakeasy is running the Cammers, aka the DMR, on Buck instead of the C8, which is a decision.
That is a decision, Parker, and it's not one we see very often. I will say, on land with very low ping, the guns that hit hard, they hit even harder. So if there was a position to do this, it would be at LAN event.
That's another reason why high rate of fire does well too, right? That's why you see the Roni quite a lot on land. You see Twitch a lot on land, but less so on online play.
We saw before the Frost scope buff that then got taken away again. Right. We saw Frost on land a lot. The cast and the pulse, they hit harder as well. So high fire rate or high damage, it just works even better here on land, so they get amplified.
I mean, at this point, I don't think anybody can doubt Speakeasy with how good he's been thus far, but there's the very first pick on the Lunar Metal. He finds himself on the wrong side of that altercation. An opening for Soniqs that will grow then again by Rexon, but Speakeasy just hits like a truck, like you said, and 2 kills with the DMR on Buck, making his presence be known and felt from above. Yeti and Lunar Metal are no more for this Earth. Well, now down goes Kansan too. So both teams losing someone in that altercation. That's the real deal, by the way, Grixer. Gig, not a clone, leaving Super in a 1v3. He's got 1 kill to his name.
There is Super in Super Soniqs, Parker. So if there was a man to do it right now, it would be Super. He arrived Yeti earlier, enabled his teammate, but now it's time for Super himself to shine, as he will have to find 3 players from IG.
Oh no, and he's boxing shadows, looking in the wrong way. Invictus pick up their 3rd round and their first on attack. They're going to be happy about that one.
They are indeed, Parker, and I will say Speakeasy made that look effortlessly. You would not think that he had a DMR, a semi-automatic weapon, the way that he was firing. He was a whole firing squad of his own.
You remember when you used to be able to map the fire button to the scroll wheel on DMRs, and then you'd have those mice that had the frictionless scroll wheels, and then you just flick it, and the DMR would basically be an automatic weapon?
Yeah, so back in the day, basically guns had an uncapped fire rate, or at the very least, the cap was very, very high. So the faster you could click, or scroll your wheel in that case, the faster you could shoot. That got changed, and I think it was as far back as like some point in year 2. And ever since then, there's a hard cap of fire rate where no matter how fast you click on the mouse or the wheel, you can only shoot so fast. And when that happened, we saw way less DMRs being played because the cameras on Buck, as Speakeasy was using, was actually somewhat common to be played even in pro play when that was the case. So, seeing it once again makes my old heart warm, Park. It's a bit of nostalgia that we don't see every single day, and Super Soniqs, they said we go again. They're not happy with that loss. They want to make it right.
Of course, the Super Soniqs, by the way, Seattle Super Soniqs, the old NBA team that then moved to Oklahoma. Now the Thunder. Seattle actually just got a hockey team. The Seattle Kraken. It's a really nice logo, actually.
That's great for them. I'm happy for them.
I'm just going to say this here. Bring back the Soniqs. Bring back the Super Soniqs. To Seattle. Seattle deserves an NBA team, but maybe that's just me. Seattle's a great city. Have you ever been?
I've never been, Parker. I've been very few places in my life outside of the areas where the Siege Pro League finals have been happening, as to which of those I've only qualified for. So, because I haven't been to every single event, so.
Well, maybe keep casting and you'll have an opportunity to travel more.
We'll see, Parker, we will see. But right now, first of all, we gotta get this match ahead. And Grixer started it off with a nice shot onto Joe. That is the finger off the board. Those adrenaline surges will no longer be in existence. And that is also 2 grenades gone. However, more, and the cameras, Parker. When you're shooting toes, you shoot really hard. But
wait here, Nick. Hold on, Nick. Never mind. Grixer can't hit shots.
He's just running past, missing every shot between the 2, and he fights back, but it's Speakeasy once again, shutting him down.
Reminds me of the FAL in Call of Duty, the gun that they use.
Yeah.
Well, it is the same thing, right?
Yeah.
It's the same gun.
I
but
believe it is.
Yeah, it just reminds me of, brings me back to those old Modern Warfare 2 days, you know? But anywho. I mean, Speakeasy's making it work. Speakeasy was what, 2 and 4, 2 and 5? And now he's 7 and 5, so...
DMR power, baby. That's the name of the game. Yellow ping comes out, so they know the whereabouts. Melusic goes up the stairs, but gets shot a little bit down. Gets about 25 health off the board. Still got much more to go.
Yeti patrolling inside of the main lobby area. Speakeasy now will find a way out and head towards the bomb site. Once again, as you said, running it back. They're back on Bar Gaming on that main floor. Second time's a charm, maybe. The Buck bans have been quite prevalent for teams here, so entirely possible that one against Invictus could have paid dividends. Soniqs just wanted to take care of Thatcher, which I think is a safe and smart thing to do on a map like this. He is such a common ban that it feels odd to actually have him be played in a match.
Yeah. I would say one of the things that's great about starting an attack is that the defenders have to ban the first attacker. So the Soniqs, they want the Thatcher gone, but they don't want to risk not banning it in case Invictus do not. So they had to say, you know what, we want to make sure it's gone, so we'll get rid of it, because maybe in their head they actually wanted something else gone ultimately.
Oh, Yeti has an opportunity that passes him by. Grixer had one earlier. He got punished for it quite hard, and now it's Yeti's turn to not make this mistake. Just narrowly misses out on the shoulder, so instead he'll rotate around. Speakeasy's third kill now on to Rexon. Everybody running into this Buck DMR combination. That, as we said, is a decision. Yeti gone 2, Kansan in a 1v4. He was in a position where he had to clutch previously, except he was on attack. This one is even tougher, from a 1v2 to a 1v4. Instead of Nitro Cell try to open things up, and he just misses out on it. Takes down Jordan and pivots towards that window, but can't see anything at all. Out on balcony, no sir. So instead he'll assess what's down below on B-Bomb. He knows exactly where the diffuser is. The bomb chassis is in a similar spot. No ace for Speakeasy. He's only got 3 kills thus far. Lunar Metal took one of them away. But if Kansan falls, that'll be a big 4K for the Buck. Nope, sharing is caring, and Invictus gifts it to Gig inside of the dining room. We have a tie game, Nick.
IG can be happy with that round once again. However, I will say it looks like the Soniqs, they're just lacking information. When they were up on that chimney area, the library hallways you see right now, they were afraid of that office balcony double window the entire round. But the thing is, there was no one from IG there at almost any moment, which meant they're going in blind, they're not sure where the enemies are, and it's so hard to make the right decision with no information available. Perhaps Soniqs should start playing into the bulletproofs, or an Echo, or there it is. Grixer has 6-picked the Echo. Information has come out. Now they can make decisions with good information available to them. They will say that they will now actually cut their losses, as they say, bar is not for us, we're going to the kitchen.
All right, well, no third time's a charm.
No,
You're not going to run it back again.
We're not going to run it back again, and honestly, I think that's a wise choice. IG seemed very comfortable and very competent taking down that bomb site. So, challenging them on a different area and a different ground, but still bringing that same old mirror, I think it's a wise choice as well. They will no doubt go upstairs and extend out in similar fashion as IG did. Then the question comes, will they have the same discipline as Invictus did the second time around, or will they have that aggression that Invictus brought the first time around? Soniqs has to show that they are the better team by making the right decision at the right time.
Not that we want you to tune out of our casting and this stream, but we would like to remind everybody here that twitch.tv/Rainbow6Bravo is also in action for the B stream. On the other side of this group, the other 2 teams currently in first and second fighting for supremacy are BDS versus Ninjas in Pajamas. And if you can hear our colleagues, Tim and Derry, Ace and Dez, across the way through our microphones, it sure seems like a raucous affair. Right now, spoilers inbound for you, so cover your ears. Ninjas in Pajamas are up 3-1 at the moment over BDS, but we are on a delay, so it is entirely possible that when you tune in, those numbers may be different. But once again, if you want to go over to the Bravo stream, you can see for yourself what exactly is going on over there.
Certainly, Parker. I believe they're on Cafe as well, if I'm not mistaken, so that is a banger map and a half. If any,
You are right.
I am right. Phenomenal. 4-4 though. We have a tight game on our hands here as well. And remember, Parker, both of these teams are on 0 points in their group. They need a win. And let's pretend they go to overtime. Then they both lose, but they also both half win. But these teams want 3 points, not 2, not 1, and certainly not 0. IG gonna peek up above. I believe they have a mirror window in their path, but they've gotten rid of it. They've cleared it, destroyed it, and Soniqs, with that mirror window being gone, have also chosen to fall back themselves. They are the wiser team. They've played the ramp well so far, and now IG needs to make the vertical play happen before they can go and start hitting the side itself.
Rexon once again leading the way for his team in terms of kills and leading the lobby. They need a bigger performance for him here on defense. The entire Soniqs gunplay has slipped down in a bad way. Super in particular was on the scoreboard early, but since then it has been all intangibles all the way down. 1 and 7 for him. He's the first one picked off by the entry of Gig. So the Soniqs will be at a 4v5 with Super talking to them from the bench.
Certainly. I made a note last time I watched these guys play, IG that is, and I said they lack the team play and the cohesion, but honestly, Parker, this map, they've been impressive in that area.
And the thing is that no player has gone quiet for too long. Lunar Metal had that strong start, fallen back a little bit, but Gig has now come online, as has Speakeasy. Jordan is the only player who really is...
Oh, look at Yeti in the corner!
And he manages to get the kill. Gig takes out Kanza, but Yeti's a little bit too slow. I don't think it's worthwhile at all, but Grixer's playing on Library Stairs. 10 seconds left. This round has flown by. Jordan getting the diffuser down, but there goes the Yokai drone. Rexon's in as well. They've got 1 second left. You gotta get it. Rexon's gonna kill him instead. And there's the drone to come to the assistance and aid. It might have taken a while, but they finally do it, and the Soniqs take a round on defense.
The 6 pick onto the Echo. IG went under wiser. We're not sure about the whereabouts of the Echo. We saw Grixer get off the camera, even finding a kill inside that dining hallway here onto the Maverick, go back down the staircase, straight onto his Yokai drone, and it was so close. I think that was a 0.1 or a 0.2 second timer left for IG before that plant was down. It can almost not get any close on that, Parker.
No. Well done, and I was a little bit skeptical of the roaming Echo, by the way. If Invictus had their whereabouts with them, and were able to drone out that Echo, you get rid of a thorn in your side in the dying moments of a round, but you also get rid of Grixer from being able to kill you. And I know that we talk a lot about Rexon in this matchup, but there are 3 players on the Soniqs who are very capable of top fragging. Yeti is as well, though we don't see it as frequently. It's the youngsters. It's Rexon. It's Kanzan. It's Grixer. They can all step up and steal the show. Kanzan's been playing very sheltered minutes. He's been on safe roles, largely supporting the team and not often in a position of conflict because Rexon and Grixer take up that role. They put on the mantle, and guess what? They're thriving in it right now. Combining for 23 kills. That is an incredibly high number through 9 rounds of action. So the Soniqs have bought themselves a bit of breathing room. They regain the lead. Invictus has yet to lead once in this matchup, but they sit on attack for the remainder of this regulation. It's a very good opportunity that overtime might fall within their laps.
That is very true, Parker. They've done a really good job on attack. I would say a better one than on their defense. Soniqs have to keep proving that their defenses are bulletproof. And so far, they've done a half-decent job at that. Bar wasn't the play, sure, but the kitchen dining came through, and they've actually taken us to the basement, which is the Wonderland that we wanted to see earlier.
It's the one bomb site that does not get played with any real frequency. When Chalet was added back to the map pool, it was played quite often, and then teams started to realize, hey, maybe this isn't the place to go. And at one point, it had a 30% win rate for the defenders, which is abysmal, though better than NA's win rate at the event right now. So just to tell you how bad that is. Teams don't want to go there, but the Soniqs know something that we don't. Maybe the Thatcher ban plays into this.
The Thatcher being banned, the Kite being open, and also the thing is, sure, the Maverick is open as well, but it's not enough, I think, to sway them fully away from it. IG doing a decent job with the vertical, but But look at who has control up above. It is Soniqs making their move. Rexen and Yeti, the duo up above. Grixer on the first floor. It's a 3-man flank across 2 different floors, and they're going to make their impact right now.
Rexen is just seconds away. Yeti a distraction, proving well for Rexen. No, Rexen is flying under the radar, but Joe gets him. Doesn't see the Finka come right through the door. Yeti's next one up. Sees the Finka, lost opportunity. Yeti, you have to win those, whether you're prepped for it or not. So this is going to push the Soniqs to take even greater risks. At this point, when you are at 1 minute left, and you are at a numbers disadvantage, the way that the Soniqs are, you need to go for broke. Start swinging.
Yeah.
Do what Invictus did when they were on defense and take engagements. Yes, most of them are going to be 50-50. But if you knock 2 players from Invictus out, then you are on a trajectory that is significantly better than before. Gig is the first to fall from Invictus.
Yeah.
So there's your first kill if you're the Soniqs, and Speakeasy goes as well. Speakeasy has been an absolute terror. There could be another now for Jordan on these library stairs.
Yeah, Jordan and Kenson staring each other down, both reading the situation quite well, but Kenson, Parker, heard you. He said, get 2 kills and fall back again, and that he does. He will now hold the angle rather than being the aggressor. Jordan might sniff it out, but so far has not done so. It's going to be a fireplace take down that staircase, Parker.
And they're all heading in the same direction now. They rally the troops, and Kansan will need to be the one to reach them at the doorway. Lunar Metal's a little bit apprehensive. The split push comes in, a 3rd kill from Joe. Joe is unstoppable. A team kill from Lunar Metal. That is unideal. Super goes down, 4 kills from Joe. It's all on Grixer's shoulder, and Ace not possible as Joe is down. But Lunar Metal didn't plant, and all of a sudden, fearing the push, they give the round to the Soniqs.
That was such a shame, Parker. There was only 3 seconds left for that plant. He surely could have stuck it and done something with that, but he ended up going off the plant, and unfortunately, the timer hit 0. The round does not go the way we expected, but oh my, Joe with an absolutely monumental round, shutting down the roam first of all, finding the entry on the second one, getting a flick as well into the corner of blue.
I mean, there was very poor coordination from Invictus in those final 10 seconds. And what is the huge cause of that? Well, Invictus seems to be a team that has relatively good comms. There's been some discussion as to whether or not Gig's addition to the team has pulled them off of calling solely in English and whether that will potentially change up the flow. But additionally, you know from experience, and I can only imagine from what I watch, what the comms of a plant are like when there's still 6 people in the server alive with 10 seconds to go.
It gets very chaotic, it gets very cluttered, and honestly, Parker, sometimes it's not the comms you have to trust, it's the instincts, knowing what's around you and what's going on. And the unfortunate situation for Lunar Metal is that when you're staring down the briefcase, trying to plant the bomb, you don't have a whole lot of sense around you, and he thought the opponent was a lot closer, and he made the decision that he thought was best for his situation, and unfortunately, it was the wrong one.
I mean, it could just be that a call was made from Joe. He's pushing.
Yeah.
Grixer was not, in fact, pushing. Grixer was still staying in the same position. I don't know if he'd gotten confirmation that he downed Joe or not. We don't know exactly whether that went through their heads, but the Soniqs didn't look all that enthused at the end of the round. They looked very calm, almost surprised with the way that the outcome went.
Yeah.
Who knows? It's all speculation. We are not in their voice comms. We can't hear what they're saying. So all we can do is speculate. That said, the Soniqs were given that round. Invictus had the upper hand through quite a lot of it, and yet it's SQ who walks away with the victory. And because of that, they're sitting on match point. They're looking for North America's 2nd victory over the 11 games that NA has played.
Ooh.
I mean, they don't really have the greatest of starts. Yeti absorbing a ton of damage upstairs by Chimney to Lunar Metal as that very first Adrenal Surge goes out from Joe.
I will give credit where it's due, Parker. The Soniqs played the previous round very well when they were down 2 players. They found the isolated targets from IG, they brought the man count back to even, and then of course IG almost clawed it back. So both teams giving their all. Speakeasy still on the DMR, Parker. He wants to believe in it, and you know what? I'm starting to believe as well. He's done a great job so far, but now the setup from Soniqs with the shields, with the ADSs, and with the tremendous amounts for my disc, it's so hard to handle, and the coordination between the flashbangs and the grenades will have to be superior, otherwise this shield will stay standing.
And there's one of those proximity alarms going off downstairs in Trophy as Gig has made his way inside of the building. A nice nod to the team that he won a seasonal championship with, being that Na'Vi charm, all the way back in Tokonami as the coach. I don't think he expected to find himself in this position, but here we are. Magnet goes up, by the way, but it doesn't set until after the grenade has gone in, so Kansan has some insurance. Now, if another throwable is tossed in his direction, a grenade, a flashbang, anything, he's perfectly prepared for it.
The timing there is ever so close. It's Gig and Kansan almost staring down each other's gun barrels, but now they're both getting off the angle. Giggs turns around, figures out the flank is coming, but Grixer finds the better of him.
And Grixer can then head back upstairs to Solarium. This is a bar gaming defense, so you're looking at the main floor being the site that you need to plant on, but at the same time, your focus is going to be on the top floor, and Rexon gets punished as Lunar Metal is still in the same spot up by Chimney. Final 20 seconds now. Soniqs know that the match is on the line, and they will trade blows. 4v4. Speakeasy looks the wrong way. Kansan's so strong, but Joe is the refrag. Lots of marks, and it's super to get one. Grixer another Yeti the last. North America wins one today, and it's the Super Soniqs in the dying seconds to take the victory over Invictus Gaming.
Yeah, 3 points in their pockets, Parker. They can be happy with that, but with that being said, they still have a very, very long